In this video, I'm talking about communication, especially when it comes for two people, and mainly face to face, but not necessary. But what does it mean, communication? I will give a definition, and maybe you will be very surprised. Okay, so most people think when I ask about what is the definition of communication, let's say between two people, it is about basically what they say, that is exchanging information and trying to influence people, maybe arguing. So it's about focus on information, and they usually focus on the person who is sending the message, the talker. So the most people's mental model about communication, that it's about topic, information, telling them what to do, what I believe, and the other person probably understands or maybe not. Okay, my definition is different. Actually, I separate it in two parts. One is that the person who is talking at one moment, maybe in the next moment he will be the listener, so the speaker and the listener. And maybe it's surprising, but the active person is the listener, not the speaker. Because what does the speaker do? Is basically the speaker is focusing on the content, on the information. A very narrow channel is about I'm thinking, and ideas comes, and my brain very quickly translate into words and into language, and I say this to the other. So it's a very narrow range. It's more about, maybe I can focus on the body language, maybe about my posture and my voice, but basically the speaker focuses on the information and talking, but the listener makes a lot of things at the same time. The listener look at the whole, what's happening, what is the context, what is the relationship, why is this person talking to me, what does he want, or she, what do they want, and does this person respect me when they talk about this? And so the listener is very active to create the meaning. So yes, one element is the content, the words that the other person says, but I also, as a listener, incorporate the person's body language and the background, what's happening and what is this situation, what's happening, what is this relationship, let's say a man and a woman. Is it a man-woman relationship? Is it friendship? It is just two strangers talk? So what? I have to, because the speaker who speaks, that they have an intention, so it's very clear. But the listener, they have to create a whole meaning. That, so if I'm talking, it's very easy that I know what I want to talk about probably, and I just translate into human language the ideas. But the other person, they have to incorporate everything to create a meaning. That is very active process. Now, and I go further, that actually a lot of times that what is the other person's communication, what is the meaning, you don't even need the other person to talk. Let's say I just ask a question and the person is not answering. From this, I create a meaning that this person doesn't want to talk to me, or too shy, or thinking to lie about. So I create a meaning even if the other person is not talking. I'm just using the situation. And even more, you don't even need the other person to create a communication that you assume that the other person is communicating to you. So imagine this situation. You think that you meet somebody at 6 o'clock and the person doesn't show up. No phone call, nothing. So you think that this person does not respect me. I am here waiting. He doesn't even bother to call me. He doesn't respect me. I don't like this. So you create a meaning and assign this to the other person. And maybe you're right. Maybe this is the situation. The person doesn't care about you. But it's also possible that you think that it's 6 o'clock, but actually it's 7 o'clock. So the other person didn't even make a mistake. So you just have a belief that what should happen, it does not happen, and you create a meaning from this, everything just in your mind, but you assign this meaning to the other person, and you say that this is how the other person treats me, this is how he communicates, that I am nobody and I don't get respect, doesn't even bother to call me, I want to finish this relationship, I hate this person. So you by yourself created a whole story, a whole meaning. The other person is not even there, the other person didn't even make any mistakes, and you created. So understand this, that communication, especially that it is about what comes from the other person or what should come according to your beliefs, is an active meaning creation process. Okay, so if you don't try to create a definition for communication but cut it into two parts, that is easier to understand. So one, the easy part, the passive part, is the speaker, because they focus mainly on the verbs, the words, the language, maybe including body language, maybe for an occasion they change their clothes, they put a special clothes, that is also a communication, or where are you looking for, or looking at what you are looking at, or your voice. But basically it's relatively passive compared to the other person who is thinking what's happening. So communication is mainly happening in the mind, even if there are two people. So if you look at this, then you will probably change how you see people's communication, and be aware of your own assumptions, because basically most of the thing is assumption. It is not, the old model was that the sender, the speaker, sends a message, encodes it to the language, the other person gets this, decodes into thoughts, and basically the whole model was that the listener is passively decoding a very clear message which is about information and content, and that was the model of communication. But if you apply my model, I created this two stages, two parts model, that it's a narrow channel of information sending to influence the other person's actions and behavior and thinking and feelings, but what's happening on the other side, the other person is actively creating whatever they want to create. It can be totally independent of the speaker's intention. And understand also this, that two people just walk together, they don't talk, but it's also a kind of communication, because I can choose that we are together, we have a great time, we don't have to talk, we feel great, we enjoy the time, we look around, and walking in the park, it's very nice, I feel that this person loves me, we walk together, holding hands, great. Or I could choose that, hey, this person doesn't want to talk to me, he's very boring, or she, and doesn't want to hear my story, doesn't ask questions, so it's just give me the silence treatment. So communicating that I'm not important, or maybe I think that is doesn't have anything to say, too stupid. Okay, so it's not, communication is not talking, it's not about information, it's about what you think. Okay, related to the other person. It can be totally independent of the other person's intention or the real situation, but actually you never know what is the real situation, what is the thinking of the other person. You create whatever you want to create using information and observation, so perception, whatever you want to create. You perceive the world according to your programs, and the information is available, and you create whatever meaning you want, and then you decide that what does it mean, and then that is the communication. It's about much more people's own creation than very clearly exchange information.